Your Honor, just so you're aware, there are actually two copies of the PSA on Mr. Perkins. The third felony case was added late, so I've amended the PSA so that most recent one by the timestamp should have all three cases on it, and is the most relevant.
All right, thank you. Let's call the cases of the state versus Michael Perkins. Cases 24 CF 2135, 24 CM 1904, and 24 CM 2042. Appearances, please.
Cameron Davies for the state of Wisconsin.
Michael Perkins appears in person and in custody, represented especially by Attorney Will Anderson of the State Public Defender's Office. Received a copy of all three criminal complaints and will waive its formal reading and stand mute. If the address in all cases could be updated to 615 East Washington Avenue, Madison, Wisconsin, 53703. And I have a note here that Mr. Perkins has applied for and been eligible for a public defender in all three cases. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'm not observing anything that suggests this needs to be assigned to any particular judge. I think these cases can be just randomly assigned unless the clerk had different information.
You're correct.
Okay, she confirms that. Before I call on the lawyers, I think there may be a person on Zoom who wanted to be heard regarding bail, regarding one of these cases.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, so I think there's probably both the live stream on as well as Zoom. If there's a way you could pause or close out the live stream, that'll probably avoid that feedback noise.
I think I got it. Is that better?
It sure is. Thank you for working on that. And I see you're logged in as Kristen, Kristen, Fretschel, Fretschel. I should just figure out how you relate to the case. Which case is it that you're here to speak regarding?
I'm the mother of the 14-year-old child that he kicked.
All right, so I think we're talking about case 24 CF 2135. That's the one that alleges the stuff on State Street. Is that right, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you for clearing that up for me, and then I'll have you go ahead and tell us what we need to know about bail in this case.
I'm not sure what's going on with this young man, but I would request that he stays in custody until his further court hearings. He is a repeat offender, and we just moved into this house a week ago, and my son did not have a key to get back into the house to turn around and go use the other entrance. So he was barricaded in with this grown man as he's belligerently drunk, and then decided to kick my child who was already scared, like with no concern. I would request that he stays in custody. Maybe he needs some AODA treatment, some DBT, or some alcohol classes. Something is going on. But my child shouldn't have to be afraid because this man here is suffering.
All right. I appreciate you joining us, and I appreciate that you worked through that sound issue as well. Good work with that. Attorney Davies, any position regarding bail in these cases?
Yes, Your Honor. In case 24 CM 2042, the state will be requesting $500 cash bail along with non-monetary conditions. The sole non-monetary condition that the defendant have no contact with Kevin B, as in boy. In 24 CM 1904, the state is requesting $250 cash bail, along with the sole non-monetary condition that the defendant have no contact with Caroline L. Caroline is spelled with a C. In the felony matter, 24 CF 2135, the state will be requesting $1,000 cash bail, along with non-monetary conditions that the defendant first have no contact with the individual listed as child victim 1. For the sake of efficiency, the state would be comfortable using the initials NEM. Dane is also requesting the non-monetary condition in that case that the defendant be banned from the 400 block of State Street in Madison.
And, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I apologize. The reason for cash bail, it primarily comes down to appearance in court. The defendant currently has 2 open cases, according to my notes, in Allegheny and Sauk counties. He now had, respectively, he now has 3 cases here in Dane County, including a felony matter, as well as an Act 3 felony matter. He also has a history of missing court. I'm seeing bench warrants issued June 7th of 2023. June 9th of 2022, July 1st of 2022, October 6th of 2022, March 6th of 2023, June 7th of 2020. I already mentioned that one. For some reason it's appeared twice, but there's clearly a history of failing to appear for court, coupled with a number of open cases. The state believes that the amount of cash is appropriate to assure appearance in court.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Commissioner. So we will be requesting signature bonds in all 3 cases here. Under different circumstances, I might acknowledge the need for cash in the felony case, but I explain why I think a signature bond across the board here would be the right result. Before I kind of dive into that, I just do want to touch on the appearance history that was mentioned at the very end of the state's argument. I know in CCAP that there are 2 Michael Perkins that we have here today. Is Michael Duane Perkins, born in 1988. There's also a Michael B. Perkins, born in 1977. Based on what I've been looking at and what I see on the PSA here, I have to assume that most of what the state mentioned there relates to the other Michael Perkins, because the PSA here indicates no failures to appear pre-trial in the last 2 years and no failures to appear pre-trial older than 2 years. I do know that, and I did look into this earlier today when I was preparing for arguments today, and all I saw was that in the open Sauk County case, 24 CF 267, that Mr. Perkins was scheduled to appear for court on July 10th of this year, and he was in touch with his attorney. His attorney made a statement to the court that he was not feeling well. The court authorized a warrant, but stayed that to the date of his next court appearance, which is in 11 days on September 17th. So I do think his appearance history up to this point, from what I'm looking at, is good. While he has picked up a number of cases in a short amount of time here, it's evident from reading the complaints and even from hearing the citizen who spoke today that alcohol underlies everything that's going on in the 3 cases that are in front of us today. Mr. Perkins was scheduled to undergo a screening for alcohol and other drug abuse treatment at UW Behavioral Health. That was scheduled for yesterday. So he's aware of this need. He is attempting to address this need. Right now, he lacks financial resources, and any amount of cash bail would have the effect of keeping him in jail. It would also probably result, I don't know what would happen with that court appearance up in Sauk County that's scheduled for the 17th of September, but it could start to create problems there. More than anything, I think that he's already taken steps to enroll in behavioral health, in substance use treatment, and that is ultimately what needs to be done. Both that should show that that's what the state wants for Mr. Perkins long term, is what Mr. Perkins wants for himself in the immediate future, and cash bail would be a severe obstacle to that. So I would ask that the court, acknowledging Mr. Perkins' financial circumstances and his indigency, allow signature bonds in all 3 of the cases in the hope that he will be able to get that appointment back and begin some treatment in the community. Thank you.
Sure. And I know that there's been a lot of attention paid to the appearance history, and appropriately so, because those are valid arguments to be made here. I don't know that they necessarily are the primary drivers in this particular case of the bail decision. That said, I while trying to follow along, I brought up his most recent Dane County case, 23 CM 899. And it alone has a failure to appear in June of 2023 with that warrant not served for another 3 months or so. So not sure where the PSA information comes from that lists no prior failures to appear. It recommends cash bail in any event, even without the failures to appear. So here's how I understand this. He now has 5 pending criminal cases. I realize that they're not necessarily situations where he's been released on bond on 4 separate occasions, that he's being charged with 3 of them here today. But that doesn't change the fact that he has that number of cases, that he's on 2 separate bonds in different counties. 2 of the 3 we have today are Act 3 eligible offenses. His Allegheny County open case is an Act 3 eligible offense. He qualifies for habitual criminality status based on multiple prior disorderly conduct type convictions. I think there might be 2 DCs and criminal damage, but that type of thing. So those themselves are not prior Act 3 offenses, and nobody's presented a history of convictions for that sort of thing. This is a situation that doesn't call for a lock them up and throw away the key sort of bond, but it does call for some cash bond. I think that's necessary to assure his appearance in court. It's necessary to ensure compliance with conditions as well as the general community safety concerns present in Act 3 and as articulated by MBM's mother here on the record. When I start looking at numbers that achieve that goal, it's hard for me to come up with one that's less than what the state's proposed. I'm going to go along with that recommendation. I'll set cash bail at $1,000 in the felony case with conditions that he have no contact with MBM. Unless there's something I don't know and I'm open to hearing it, I guess I'm inclined not to limit. I'm trying to think how to say this differently. I'm inclined to order him just not to be in the State and Langdon Van area more broadly, as opposed to in the 400 block of State Street. If there's some specific reason he would need to be there, I guess I'm willing to look at that again or reconsider that. But otherwise, I'm inclined to just order that as a condition. In 1904, the $250 cash bond will have a condition that he not have contact with Caroline L. And then that would leave 2042 with a $500 cash bond with a condition that he have no contact with Kevin B. And Mr. Anderson, I should come back to you in case you had something to add about the State Street thing.
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm just gonna make it the general State and Langdon Van area rather than that specific block. It sounds like there's good reason why there should be sort of a zone of safety for this 14-year-old who's alleged to be the victim in that case. That's a relatively small portion of a fairly decent sized city. There's a lot of places that Mr. Perkins could be that don't have to be in that immediate area. Should we put on a prelim right away on the felony case?
I think that'd be best. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's leave that intact. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do that. The cases will look like they're assigned to Judge Condar, and we'll have the 2 misdemeanor cases sent right to the branch for further scheduling. Thank you. Good luck.
Next up is Maine U Lee, appearing by Zoom for a formal.
Is the initials for the child MEM?
I got MB as a boy. Yeah.
It was, I believe it was MEM, let me.
Okay,
I misheard there.
I know.
It's okay, all those.
all those letters all sound like something else.
Let me make sure.
Okay,
It is MEM, he is an Eric.
that's what I thought, but I just want to make because that's not what I heard.
Oh,
You're all good.
hold on a second.